Hey, now look, I want y'all to see this. This white object, I made it go back and forth a few times so y'all can see this. Look, you see it now. Look, now look. It's finna go in, splash, and then it's gonna go into the ocean, and not even 5 seconds later, it's about to explode. See? Now I brought it back so y'all can see it again, just in case you missed it. Now look at this white object. It goes from there to there. From there to there, splash, goes into the ocean, and then explodes. See what I'm talking about? So something ain't right. You know, somebody did it to these folks. Look at that white object. I'm telling y'all, man.
Check all of that out. Oh, fuck! Holy shit!
Money. Satu. Dah pula money.
Fuck!
Now I'm going to talk about a new scare. It's called osteoporosis of the sea. Okay. This is actually a quote. The osteoporosis of the sea, by the way, language manipulation is one of those. I actually told Al Gore, you are the manipulator of the English language. That you see things like that. They say they create this thing to create the mental picture. They want to make sure you understand. You know, when you don't have carbon dioxide, global warming, when the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere tends to go down into the ocean, it's going to make the ocean more acidic. Ooh, scary, right? So one of these so-called marine biologists, who is also a Obama appointee, Under Secretary of NOAA, Dr. Jane Lubchenco, who is actually now back at Oregon State, saying that, you know, any plants, anything that have a shell, if you have more of this stuff, like oyster and crab, they will be actually melting away because it's more acidified. It's scary. So, you know what? It's very simple. You just do an experiment. The first thing we do is that we're going to study this lobster under the condition of 400 parts per million carbon dioxide. By the way, that's 0.04%, right? You breathe out, it's almost 4%. So let's ask ourselves, if we run the experiment 7 times more, which is about 2,800 parts per million, what happened to the lobster? It grew bigger. Oh, what's wrong with that? The second one we can test is crab, because they mentioned lobster and crab, so I'll show you that. 7 times, it's also grow bigger. A lot of these kind of scary things around that you probably have seen. I will show you one. You know, dissolving cell picture. You probably have seen those. Al Gore has used those, obviously. Lubchenco has used this. Jane Lubchenco, the NOAA secretary, show picture like this from day 0, day 16 to day 45. The shell was very nice and shiny, and then it's kind of eroded away. Willie Soon is lying to you. Well, go home, refund, boy, pay money back. Unfortunately, this is another one of those magic tricks. They did not conduct the experiment that you have carbon dioxide and then they bubble through the system and then cause the change in the carbonate by carbonate cycle. So don't study chemistry tonight. But something like that. You have to study this properly. Instead, what they do is that, as I put a quote here, I better not me talking about it. These are all experts studying all this topic. Guess what they do? Instead of letting the CO2 bubble through the system, they put weak hydrochlorics to speed up the process because they don't even want to wait for the equilibration of the system. Those experiments that I show you takes about 2-3 months to work properly. Okay? And they do that. You don't want another one. This someone was famous because in the newspaper she quoted that she's an Obama supporter. Things like that. Supposed to gain more credibility, right? I don't care. Just be honest in science. You never ever tell lies. Okay?
Yeah, a giant eyeball washes up on shore, and marine biologists are stumped. Basically, just saying that we don't know what it is, but it's possible it could belong to some like deep water species that we just don't know about. You mean like this? Or like this? How about this? We want answers. We really do.
Okay, remember humanity. I'm still confused. I'm not sure if the Titans, the Giants, the Nephilims, the dinosaurs, that's another name for them, the Kraken can return when the 8 suns are awakened, when the red sun solar system comes in, when the earth gets warmer, all right? I'm not sure if that's when it can happen or in a galaxy collision. The galaxy collision happens every 84,000 years. We got 22,000 years ago, our species will be dead. Cellular energy comes and goes. But most likely, I think it's because of the high CO2 levels, the high carbon dioxide, because the earth is getting warmer, the other volcanic activity is on, and I think it's because of that. You must understand, it's the sun activities in earth. For example, religious people believe in this fictional God. They don't understand the real word of God. G7, the 7 constellation with suns. O, 15 passage over sun solar system. D4, the 4 seasons, the 4 elements. So when the earth gets warmer and there's a lot of people, there's no balance, these creatures will come out. I think carbon dioxide, CO2 levels, the ion changes is their breath of life. Like our breath of life is oxygen, 21%. So understand the truth, learn, educate yourself, watch my videos. I'll be going live on Facebook on Saturday. I'll be pointing, explaining the wheel above the 12,000 years, 10,000 years of sunlight, 2,000 years of darkness. You see, in the 2,000 years of darkness in the Earth's ice age, is where these creatures are trapped, all right? You know, remember when you read the book of Zeus, he trapped the Titans? See, that's the ice age. And I'm thinking because the earth gets warmer, is why these creatures will rise again when the earth gets warmer. So we have to maintain the balance. Earth is not balanced. 8 billion people, if I was balanced. The Georgia Guidance says maintain humanity under 500 million. But I'm not sure if that's an elite mind control thing, but it makes sense. It makes sense that that's why we always been at war with each other for generations. Remember, fake war governments, fake war religions, fake education system. Learn how to use your brain. Until then. So let's explain a little bit more of these Titans, all right? So as you've seen, I've done a lot of videos about it. I would never imagine they can return because of the high carbon activity in Earth. It's their breath of life. For example, our breath of life is oxygen, all right? Your brain needs oxygen to think, to process what's going on in the world, all right? As you know, we have a fake word, government. Government, when you study the word, means control the mind, all right? Control la mente. You must understand that your government gave you a fake world religions. Okay, all those religion Bibles have an illusion. In order to you have to understand it, you have to understand how nature works to see through the illusions. All right, God, that religious people believe in, is a fictional character. God, G7 or 15 D4 is a constellation code. The real word of God is the sun activity in Earth. All right. Again, our education system does not teach us intelligence. It's just to prepare you for the workforce. All right. So all the doctors that you people see, they're not doctors. They're just people who went to school for 10 years to be under more mind control. You must understand that anybody who won on a world prize from Yale or Harvard, they're just puppets of the system. They can't see their strings. All right. Any government officials can't see their strings. All right. So, you know, we always been at war for centuries. The whole reason is to maintain the balance, maintain the carbon levels low, so these creatures don't come back out and destroy the way of life. All right. You must understand that. So that's the threat that, you know, when you listen to these world leaders, the alien threat is the Titans. That's the alien threat that comes from underneath our feet. It doesn't come from space. It comes from underneath our feet. It's the Earth's new environment. All right. That's why in all the ancient temples you have to see their scales. It has to be balanced. Watch my other videos, learn, study all the images that I provided for you guys. Understand that the religious people don't want to see the truth. Even if they see it in the Bible that says that God is the S-U-N, they make some shit up. They don't want their fictional world to be destroyed. Remember, we are the monsters. Okay, we eat each other at the end of the cycles. Study, understand how to use this. That's my warning to you. Okay, so let's explain this video of this lady that her uncle met his military friend. He hadn't seen her for 15 years, and they started talking about the Titans, the Caillou, the Niflins, all right? So you understand this Titan was somewhere in Peru, she says, and to me in an underground base. And she said it escaped. It didn't escape. The people who were studying them, they let them escape to see if he can survive in our new environment. And he can, because in a new environment, we are at 50% higher. Look at the charts that I provided. You will see the videos. You will see the carbon emission, how high it is. It's what they need to survive. All right. You must also understand that when you read any religious text, because this lady is religious, all those Bibles are sun stories. Any Bible worldwide from any cultures is just telling you the sun activity in Earth and what happens. All right. You must understand that God is a constellation called G7. The 7 constellation was suns. O, 15 Perseid sun solar system. D4, the 4 seasons. Again, Jesus is the yellow sun, also named Yeshua, also named Noah, also named Goliath. The yellow sun has many names, many stories through all the cultures. The Buddha, Muhammad. Okay. You must also understand that we have 3 different cycles. The first cycle is the red sun cycle, comes in every millennium cycle. Awake is the 8 suns, new earth, new DNA. The reason for the Titans, their return, if the carbon emissions goes higher. You understand why the government is pushing their delusional. The government always lies. All right. Again, you must understand that the second cycle we have is the ice age. We have 10,000 years of sunlight, 2,000 years of darkness. You know, 2,000 years of darkness, future people will live underground. It's the Earth's ice age. There will be no vegetation. We eat each other. We are also the monsters, right? Especially if you don't understand how anything I'm saying, you are a monster, plus you are a stupid monster. And the third one is the galaxy collision, all right? Happens every 84,000 years. We got 22,000 years to go for the Milky Way to collide, let's say, with the Andromeda galaxy. Again, here's evidence that Jesus is the yellow sun. Okay, if you don't believe me, just ask the computer, your cell phone, Bible verses that says that God or Jesus is the sun. S-U-N, the light that shines the world, okay, the sunlight. Use your brain, understand fake war governments, fake religions, fake education system. Learn how to use your brain, humanity, all right? The education system does not teach you intelligence. Government control.
So anyway, Steve was sharing how this military guy he knows said that there's a military base in Peru where they have resurrected Nephilim living there. And he was saying how a few years ago one got out, and that's all they said. And it blew me away because a few years ago, my uncle is in the military, or was in the military for a long time, and he ran into one of the guys he was in the military with, and he hadn't seen him like 15 years, so he invited him over for a couple beers, and I was there, and the guy was supposed to be going, he was stationed to go to Peru, but he was injured, so he stayed back, but a lot of his friends in the military went. And he didn't use the word Nephilim, and I was eavesdropping, God forgive me, but they said something that piqued my interest. And he told my uncle that in a dumb base in Peru, that some kind of being was being kept there, and it was 25 to 35 feet tall, and it got out, and there was a village nearby they were afraid it was going to go to. So these helicopters were flying, looking for it, and when they found it, they threw this net to catch it, and apparently this Nephilim pulled the net and pulled the helicopter down, and like 20 or 25 military men and women were killed. So I knew that when the story that Steve was referring to was the same story that guy had told my uncle. So I called my uncle and I even sent him the clip, and he doesn't believe it. He told that guy, he's like, yeah, man, we got right, dude. And the guy's like, dude, I'm serious. He's like, one of my best friends saw these things. He's like, they are everywhere. So, you know, and I also told you guys how they have those forbidden cities with some of the descendants of the Nephilim down there. So they are here. They have resurrected them, and not all of them, but a lot of them. And so it just, you know, today when I was at my mom's house, my mom and my grandma have a hard time believing anything supernatural. And so it just worries me because they believe in God, but like literally nothing supernatural. And so how do we get these people ready that for things coming upon the earth that will literally shatter their entire belief system? How do we prepare people? Because that's why God's word says men's hearts will fail them for things coming upon the earth. And if we do not have a strong foundation of Jesus and are not prepared for these things, we are going to either be lost in a deception and lies, or we might, like God said, our hearts may fail us for fear. So how do we explain to people that don't even won't even consider the supernatural that things are coming upon the earth that their worst nightmares couldn't even, you know, come close?
So this is playing Pacific Rim in the year 2025, the Titans. We're almost there. As you know, solar engineering, you people call it chemtrails, it reduces the high CO2 levels. But let me say this, you know how religious people use imagination when they read their Bibles? I hope I'm using my imagination right here. All right, I hope I'm wrong. But it looks like our Earth is already in good conditions for the return of the Titans. You must understand, we just came out of the Ice Age 2,000 years ago. Earth is getting more hotter. You see that tectonic plates are moving faster because of the resonant solar system. More new gamma radiation than what Earth is doing through purification. As you know, when you watch these movies and all the other movies, this is the primordial soup where we all came from. Our ancestors were Titans, all right? We keep getting smaller through the Ice Age cycle. So right here, because of the dead fish or those dead bacteria, so that DNA down there, it's the primordial soup. It's the reason for mutation, Titans, all right? So the high CO2 levels is what they need to survive. When you watch the TV series Godzilla Singular Point, they tell you that. So if they leave that area with the high CO2 levels, they get to the oxygen and they will die. So that's why solar engineering, you see right here, you will see the CO2 levels, how high they are. And they need that to survive, like plants, all right? Like we need oxygen to survive. Again, in this movie, this is like Power Rangers, Ultraman, Godzilla, King Kong, Pacific Rim. There's a lot of movies telling you about this, all right? So these are the giants. They always return. Depends on the conditions. Okay, right here's the 40 ton. In this movie, they used 28 tons. You see, they're crossing the rifts, the tectonic plates, because it's the primordial soup. This is how these creatures are. They come to Earth. See? So now you know you live in the world of illusions, all right? We have a fake world government, fake world religions, fake education system. How to control your minds. The politician's job is to keep you as dumb. This is the real world of God, G7 15D4. It's a cancellation code. When you watch this cartoon, they tell you, when we get the high volcano activity, the lightning storms, those storms, the water floods, it's the good condition for them to return. And that's the time we're living in. So hopefully that solar engineering works. Those chemtrails reduces the CO2, preventing them. And you see, the military, Russia, they're losing a lot of submarines, those people. Just learn how to use your brain, study, and watch my other videos into that.
Everyone Everyone in the city is secured in underground shelters. You are clear to engage.
When I was a kid, whenever I'd feel small or lonely, I'd look up at the stars. Wondered if there was life up there. Turns out I was looking in the wrong direction. When alien life entered our world, it was from deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. A fissure between two tectonic plates. A portal between dimensions. The breach. I was 15 when the first kaiju made land in San Francisco.
And they'd been here before in sort of a trial run. It was the dinosaurs. But the atmosphere wasn't conducive, right? So they waited it out. And they waited it out. And now, you know, with ozone depletion and carbon monoxide polluted waters, well, we practically terraformed it for them. Because now they're coming back. It's perfect. See, the first wave, that was just the hounds. Categories 1 through 4, it was nothing. Their sole purpose was to aim for the populated areas and take out the vermin, us. The second wave, that is the exterminators. And they will finish the job. And then, the new tenants will take possession.
In the beginning, the kaiju attacks were spaced by 24 weeks. Then 12, then 6, then every 2 weeks. The last one in Sydney was a week. In 4 days, we could be seeing a kaiju every 8 hours until they are coming every 4 minutes. Marshal, we should witness a double event within 7 days.
Mr. Gottlieb, I'm to drop a 2,400-pound thermonuclear bomb. I need more than a prediction.
Well, politics and poetry, promises, these are lies. Numbers are as close as we get to the handwriting of God.
Many eons ago, back when the world was new, the planet Earth was down on its luck, and everywhere gigantic brutes called Titans ran amok.
It was a nasty place. There was a mess wherever you stepped,
where chaos reigned and earthquakes and volcanoes never slept.
And
then along came Zeus. He hurled his thunderbolt. He's out.
Locked those suckers in our vault.
They're trapped. And on his own stops chaos in its tracks. And that's the gospel time.
Please find your way to the nearest port deck for immediate evacuation. Begin evacuation to surface immediately. Pressure anomalies detected.
There are things that will happen that will make you feel powerless, that make you feel insignificant. But that's it. They're just feelings.
Begin evacuation to surface immediately.
And sometimes you have to stop feeling, start doing.
Foreign objects approaching pods. Foreign objects approaching pods. Distance to contact 60 meters. Accessing core terminal.
You know what we're sitting on? A lot of energy, with nowhere to go.
Core meltdown in progress. 1 minute until meltdown.
We had 60 seconds. you lose your sense of time in the dark.
3, 2, 1.
So let's light this shit up.
Siento a fuego tú dentro, siento a fuego aquí dentro, siento a fuego dentro, siento a fuego aquí dentro.
Great scientific advances are oftentimes sudden accomplished facts before most of us are even dimly aware of them. Breathtakingly unexpected, for example, was the searing flash that announced the atomic age. Equally unexpected was the next gigantic stride, when man moved out of his very orbit to a point more than 20 million miles to Earth.
Don't move.
Let me see it.
Don't move, Amy.
Let me see it.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm. I love it.
That's super sweet, because it's terrible. Oh my God.
Where have you been, Joel?
Amy, I love you. I'm gonna come find you. The day of the monster uprising was the day I lost everyone. Only a small fraction of humanity survived and moved underground. I've been scanning for Amy the entire time. And now I finally found her.
Joel.
Hey.
Joel.
Amy, is that you?
Oh my God.
Hey! How far away is Amy's colony?
85 miles. It's an impossible journey. Everyone will try to kill you. Don't fight, just run and hide.
Okay.
You really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing.
You all alone? Me too. You don't have to talk about it.
They got me now.
You wanna come with me?
So I can't sleep at night.
Look out!
Is that a samurai sword?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is. Listen to your instincts out here, man.
What if I have terrible instincts?
You'll die.
Super encouraging speech.
You made it all this way for a girl, huh? You ever hear the term fools errand?
No! Amy! I miss you so much.
We have lost this war.
We could still take our world back.
You're more of a survivor than I thought.
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, I feel like Tom Cruise.